Sorry everybody. Coming from my hana kia paita, you can name that, and my hanawai and my kia paita. The hui or standing committee. Sorry everybody, welcome. Open karakia. Please, did you want to give us a karakia? You see that board? Up there on the speaker. You're mute.
Kapai, can you hear me?
Aye.
Aye. Kia ora tātou. Aye, mai karakia tātou. Tuko te wairua kia rere ki ngā taumata. Hei arahi, ia tātou mahi, me tō tātou whai ngā tikanga rātou mā, kia mau, kia ita, kia kore ai ngaro, kia pupuri, kia whakamau, kia tīna. Tīna hui e tātou.
Kia ora. So, it's great that we're back to face-to-face and Zoom meetings, but a reminder that Omicron is still very active in our community. We want to protect the most vulnerable people in our community, including Tamari and our kuia and kaumata. We highly recommend that everyone wears their mask throughout the meeting. We also encourage use of hand sanitizer at the door and social distancing. Health and safety briefing. The emergency exits for the town hall are clearly indicated. If we need to evacuate the building, use any of the emergency exits and head towards 6th Street and assemble in the playground area. Please remain at the assembly area until the building has been confirmed clear. This meeting is being held both in person and use of audio and video technology. All members participating via audio and video conference will count for the purpose of the meeting forum, in accordance with clause 25B of Schedule 7 to the Local Government Act 2002. The meeting is being live streamed to Council's YouTube channel. The meeting will also be recorded, and subject to the recording being of suitable quality, will be made available to Council's YouTube channel via a link on Council's website. Extraordinary business. Does anyone have any extraordinary business that needs to be added to the agenda? Oh. Apologies, there are apologies from Kirwini and Councillor Jepson. And
an apology for early leaving.
And an apology for early leaving. I move that the apologies from Kirwini, Councillor Jepson and Alex be received. Do I have a seconder? Sure. All those in favour, please raise your hand. All those against, please raise your hand. The motion is carried. Conflicts of interest. Are there any conflicts of interest to declare? Oh. Does anyone have any acknowledgements or tributes they would like to make? Anything? Public participation. We have no public presenters this evening, except I do know you are speaking to us tonight, AC. At what point will it be?
Probably as part of the report. So as item 9.2 and 9.3.
Back to you. So minutes of confirmation, pages 1 to 3 of the agenda. Are there any corrections needed to the Māori Standing Committee meetings on the 21st of June 2022?
Actually had last time's minutes in there.
Very long day.
Do I have a mover that the minutes of the Māori Standing Committee held on the 21st? Did you have something else?
No, I'll go through.
That are a true record. Thank you, Alex. And do I have a seconder?
I wasn't here.
Oh, yes, true.
And I can't.
Anyone want to please? Kelly, Karen. All those in favour, please raise your hand. All those against, please raise your hand. The motion is carried. So, chairperson report pages 4 to 34. So this is the item. This is around the Water Services Entity Submission Report. So this is a report that was written by Amanda Policy after a meeting with the councillors. So this is the work of the council. And so this is the second draft and then the final draft. And would anyone like to add to that? Alex?
If I could add, it is commentary on the proposed entity as opposed to three waters. Is there a bit more in it, but a bit more specific state? Local government as well. Put on that they're looking at what would be proposed and submitting on that, not the general value of three waters changing that. I don't know.
It's the first bill that's called Water Services Bill.
Can everybody hear Amanda? Cool.
It's the first free waters bill, which is called the Water Services Bill, and it outlines the governance structures of the proposed free waters legislation. And it's probably the first of three or potentially four pieces of legislation. They haven't confirmed that yet.
If there's nothing else to discuss during. If there's nothing else to add to this part of the report at the moment, I'll just leave it there. But I say I'm just going to have some notes to talk about that, but it'll be late. Not quite. So, sorry. And do I have a mover to receive the chairperson's report? Sorry, I should have done that earlier. Thanks, Garrett. Can I second it? Yeah. Thanks, Andrea. All those in favour, please raise your hand. All those against, please raise your hand. Can't quite. And then we'll have a little bit of a discussion about that. And then the other part that I want to talk about, which is on page 15, was a proposal that I listened to on the Te Marawata, which I've spoken to spoken about before, which is part of the LGNZ. Marawata are a representation of all Māori that work in local government positions right across the north, whether they're councillors, mayors, trying, going for mayoralship in their area, or even ourselves as appointed members to a council. So this was a presentation that was put to us, and it's around Aotearoa Rua. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to read that, but I quite liked what this was saying. It was about Māori being able to be recognised within our community and how do we want to do it, and this was a resourcing on how to do it, and it's a tuakana taina system. So at the moment there's 3 tuakana, Otaki, Rotorua, Wairua, and so there in Otaki they have Ngā Hapu Otaki, so it's all the hapus in Otaki have come together and they work with their councils. And what they've set up is their rota. And so that's their strategy and how they're going to improve the awareness of Māori in their community. But I quite like that because it seemed quite similar to welcoming communities in a sense, but of course for Māori by Māori. So just thought it was just of interest at the moment, and I wondered about bringing it to the attention of council at the next council meeting. One thing it is resource.
So who's resourcing?
If I help you to you. Where did I come from?
Yeah.
So Alex, go ahead.
In the exits with Martha Cobb, there was also something that's been put in place at Turanga. That this is not mentioned here with regards to governance taking on some of the roles of council in a very Māori conscious community within the Tāpō district. And I'm wondering whether that could also be looked at. But what would we love is to see, it would be great is to see it's actually an example of how it's been implemented and what the results were for us to really bring it to life.
So the woman that presented this at Te Marawata online, she's more than happy to come over and present to here. So if council were wanting to hear more about that, I could certainly make some links to ask them to come and present.
Do we hear rural election? It was related to the public. Rural electoral. Yeah, I thought we were going as well.
rural provincial.
Yeah, so it's a gathering of all the rural and provincial councils. You've been before, over in Wales, we had a bridge.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Anyway. So there's another presentation, I'll try to find it for you, or that's briefly we had about it.
Yeah, I'd like to invite them to come and talk to us.
That sounds cool. Okay, what would you put there as a picture? Pages 34 to 49. Anatira Lukupiwa project report. Do I remember to receive that only Anatira Lukupiwa report? Thank you, Andrea. Do I was going to thank you. All those in favour, please raise your hand. All those against, please raise your hand. So page 35. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to read this. This is a great report. It's a great story. It's a great story to share and tell. So this is around the Po being erected, and it's going to be placed in Featherston. And it is a modern contemporary design of Pua Alamatira and Tupuna for Matakamimu. And it's when it came to the suspension bridge, which was to join the two towns together, it was like, how do we tell two narratives rather than the one narrative of the railway line? And so it was to look at one of the Tupuna and the Pua buildings. So yes, so there will be a Po to go up. It's been commissioned now. And the first thing we're doing on the 14th of August, by the way, if anybody's free, 9 o'clock, is we're planting on the Featherston side.
What date's that?
14th of August.
On the Featherston side of the bridge.
On the Featherston side of the bridge. So they're going to start there, and then the Greytown side will be done as well. So it's all part of the landscaping. So all hands for Miriam.
Can I just ask,
Sure.
Featherston Community Board raised it there, and the feeling was very, we wanted to hear feedback from the Māori Standing Committee. The Featherston was happy, just saw we were all singing the same. And we really wanted to make it really good. Māori Standing remarks.
Oh yeah. So we've already written our letter of support. Hajimorpa have as well.
Could they be seen maybe to the other?
Sure.
Just to formalise it so we know it's a pretty good thing.
Anything else? Any other comments to make?
In the carver and designer of the Po, is it Eddie Leeway?
Right.
Yeah, that's 2.1.2, really well.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, no, good report.
And so, because and this was actually discussed a few years ago
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
when
right.
it first came up. So this has been a little bit in the, taken a bit of time in the making, I guess. So it's great to see where this has come from. Can you just tell us a little bit more about how Nuku Pua was chosen? Who came up with having this story as the one that combined both Papua or the Greytown side and the Featherston side to have this, because I think it's a good story and that, the narrative is beautiful. So I was just wondering if anyone could tell me how this was chosen.
Yeah. Well, what I know from way back then, and Gillies, you might be able to correct me now. Or, no, so it was a consultation and an engagement and conversation with Greytown Trails Trust and the Marae, Papua Marae. So Papua Whānau actually, so Holder Munson and Simon Oka and Mahi, I think was part of that conversation. And they actually just thought about how do you represent something that is elevated.
Yeah.
So it's the connection of a bridge, a connection of the people, but Nuku Pua with his kite traverse the valleys. So there was this idea that of just lifting the whole kaupapa and elevating and being in the sky, looking down on the river and connections. It's a, yeah.
That's also like other
And he did
things.
more things, they did many things.
Mm.
But I think that's one that they really resonated with them, and it was to do a contemporary design that represented the kites and flying and soaring.
Yeah. That's it.
But we remember back to when that first discussion was made about how to link the significance of certain places along the trail. It'd be nice to think that there's the capacity to put more code in it, certain
Oh, yeah,
areas
definitely.
to enlarge the number of stories that are able to be shared.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a great story. I think that the storytelling of it is something that, you know, we see a lot, you know, and I think it is beautiful, but I just wanted to ask that question so everyone kind of knew how it came about that this was chosen.
I was just Violet, you couple with that, Errol? Did you, yeah? Anyone else want to say anything?
Yeah, just in terms of the letter of response to this, were you expecting each marae to do this, or was it going to be a collective effort from the Māori Standing Committee?
It could come from the Māori Standing Committee. Do you think the community board would be happy with that? Yeah, it's okay. Unless you guys want to, then you're welcome to.
No, that's what I was going to suggest, that because I think we've already endorsed it.
That's
There's
right.
probably no reason why 3 marae need to write a letter of the same thing, whereas, you know, it's fully represented through the Māori Standing Committee, so it's probably appropriate that we respond in that manner, I think.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, that was a feeling that was with the Māori Standing Committee, that you would very soon, and then you can vote from there. Thank you.
Yeah, pretty good. We can.
Yeah, so it will just be to note that the committee supports or doesn't support the whole project.
Put that to a vote.
Yeah, please.
Oh, okay, so members, are there any questions or clarification you would like to ask?
Hi. What time is the planting session?
It's coming via email, but it's 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bring your own gumboots.
So back to the vote. Do I have a mover to note that the committee are in support of the Rangatira Hukupiwapia Ho project? Do I have a Violet, sorry. Violet. Oh, comes up.
He's having-
Okay.
I'm thinking.
Second that, who's going to move it?
I think
Violet.
Violet. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Aye, all those against, please raise your hand. Motion is carried. 9.2, page 50 to 54. For to Waharoa Ki Ngā Hapori, Government Communities Program report. So now, do I have a move to receive the Waharoa Ki Ngā Hapori, Government Communities Program report? Yeah, thank you. Do I have a seconder? Andrew, oh, anybody, Karen? Okay, all those in favour, please say aye. Aye. All those against, please raise your hand. The motion is carried. Members, are there any questions or clarifications you would like to ask? With that, let's have seed. Come on up. You might have to get close here so people can hear you very clearly. Is it repeating?
There we are. Steve, did you want me to get your presentation up?
Yeah, please. So kia ora tātou, Tose Kia Satapuihua. I'm the Community Development Coordinator for South Wairakura District Council. Most of you guys will know me. There's some new faces over on the screen. So nice to meet you via the screen. And I'm just here to talk a little bit about the Welcoming Communities program. The South Wairakura District Council was invited and formally joined the program recently. Now, so I'm going to cheat a little bit. New Zealand Immigration have got this awesome little video that I'm going to show you first that sort of summarises the program quite nicely, and then we'll go on to some slides. So, and right in the beginning, you might get a bit of an ad, but if we can play that link.
Am I supposed to be watching something?
So just pause there, go back.
Hang on, could
Did you not see that?
Just go back to the presentation, I think, yeah.
Hang on.
Hi.
Hang on,
I know that everybody's.
did they not, were they not able to get that on?
Did you get to see it, Karen? No, that's all right.
I can send the link through now. I'm not sure it said that we were sharing our screen, so. Are they able to see the presentation?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you see the presentation?
All right, so the Welcoming Communities program, it's a settlement program that supports local councils and communities to create welcoming and inclusive environments for newcomers. That includes recent migrants, seasonal workers, former refugees, international students, and also New Zealanders that are moving into our communities. And the key points of difference to other welcoming communities programs, and a key to the success that this program has been having, is that it involves local residents in developing and delivering and participating in the welcoming activities, as well as the newcomers, and also the important role that Tanga Whenua as respected leaders and collaborators can play in the program. So the aims are to create thriving regions and welcoming communities, and the program generates social, economic, civic and cultural benefits by supporting councils and communities to welcome newcomers, building competitive advantage to attract, support and retain newcomers, growing social inclusion through welcoming activities, fostering an environment where everyone can belong, participate and contribute and thrive, building community resilience and enhancing trust so that newcomers feel confident and comfortable to raise unfair or biased behaviour and pressure or exploitation. And the next slide. So literally everyone in the community can be involved in this, and any from the newcomers to sports clubs to obviously hapu, marae, mana whenua, tangata whenua, business sectors, government agencies, churches and community groups, and whānau and the district council. So there's no end to the opportunities really involved and the benefits for participation. And then the next slide, the benefits that communities and councils that have been piloting the Welcoming Communities program are seeing strong relationships between the local residents and newcomers and local community council. Locals and newcomers are celebrating each other's cultures. Newcomers are more confident to engage with council. We have improved access to services and resources for all newcomers. And local business owners are valuing diversity in their workforce, and we have new local partnerships and collaborations to deliver welcoming plan activities. And then we can go on to the next one. So there are some really cool opportunities for our communities, and it's very much about, that conversation you just had about the poet, really, and it's about what is the story that our community wants to tell, and telling that amazing story about the amazing political and cultural history of the Wairarapa of the Manawhina era is one of those opportunities that we bring into this program, and I think I hope that you'd be very interested in supporting the program. So we're looking for your guidance in telling us if you'd like to be involved, how you would like to be involved. So like you probably heard in the video, MBIE and Immigration New Zealand provides funding and support. There is salary, that is a contribution to salary for a coordinator for 3 years. And there's also a bunch of resources. You get to network with other communities that are already doing this. You get advice on best practice, program evaluation and guidance. And also you have the opportunity to be a common accredited community. And also, as I just touched on before, the pilots that have been happening have been a huge success and has generated economic, social, civic and cultural benefits for both newcomers and receiving communities. And I think now we're up to about 35 councils across the country that have joined the Welcoming Community program. And I think we can go on to the next one. It's really just about showing you a little bit about the Welcoming Communities standard, which is sort of it's an outcomes-based standard, and communities and council can sort of benchmark their welcoming activities and how they're progressing with developing a welcoming plan against that standard. The 8 outcomes include inclusive leadership, welcoming public spaces, culture and identity. Now I can't actually see the welcoming communications, economic development, business, access to the engagement and participation. Sorry, stop. So we can use that standard to benchmark policies and services and programs and activities, and also identify where we can do better and become an accredited community.
So we'll get to some questions. I
And I also just wanted to say thank you to Maria for supporting social interest. That was really helpful.
Does it go 3 jobs or just So does anybody have any questions for Steve on this report? Jodie Hills.
How do you see this integration with our Māori liaison officer? Would they be a crucial part of working with this Welcoming Communities persons to develop a program, or do you think it would be self-contained within the resource that the Welcoming Communities is going to provide?
I mean, it could be self-contained, but I think I would really love to see there being a you know, a close working relationship between those people, between the new coordinator and the Māori liaison person. Yeah. To make sure that we do the right type of engagement and we're inclusive.
So anyone else? Amanda?
Steve and I have had a lot of conversation about this work, and the potential opportunities. Sorry. As I said, Steve and I have already had some conversations about the opportunities, the potential opportunities between the Māori School Advisor and the Welcoming Communities Program and the coordinator that would be recruited into that role. So absolutely we see alignment. How much input, I think that just depends on how the program develops.
And see, is anyone being appointed to that, or how was it being advertised?
It's probably been advertised for about a month now. We're still actually looking for applications. If anyone has got the ability to share it with any works, then I can take another link to that role.
Yeah, that would be good. We have an email train as part of the email, so.
I'll do that.
And as well, Councillor Masterton, have they got a business program or are they pending or?
Masterton they joined the program a while ago because they were receiving community for PhD. Yeah. But I think they've possibly only just recruited. So they have sort of had quite a long period between joining it and getting someone in the role, who might be just starting in the role at the moment. Harderton, I think, are hoping to apply, but I couldn't say for sure. That's only kind of very vague.
To be some massive synergy of all three councils were, is then say with the Filipino community and you're dealing with one organisation over the whole district to make it work.
Yeah, and there will obviously, you know, with the migrants that are coming to any of our communities are moving across. So the more we can work together to support those experiences that they have, the better it will, the outcomes can be for everyone.
Anything else? Anyone else? So moving on to your other report, what I'm going to tell you strategy on page 55. Let's try again. So Steve to speak to what I've got on the Tony strategy review, page 55. Can I have, sorry, do I have a mover to make that South Wairarapa District Council has agreed to developing a regional Wairarapa Rangatani strategy with Marsden and Carlton District Councils? Do I have a mover? Andrea. Do I have a seconder?
We moved it secondly.
One was second.
I'm sure I did that one. Oh, no, I didn't write any notes next to it. Let's go back a step. So what did I put on the strategy? No. Did those? I did them both at the same time. So 9.3, the strategy.
So you need to receive the report and
Could
then.
we receive the Rangatahi Strategy Review report? Can I have a move? Thank you, Garrett. Can I have a seconder? Thank you, Pip. All those in favour, please raise your hand. All those against, please raise your hand. Right, members, and then blah, blah, blah. And our C to speak to report. Now we're on to Rangatahi report.
Oh, yeah, so just wanted to inform the committee, I'm sure you've read the report, but just wanted to inform the committee about the Wairau Strategy Review and key next steps of the engagement with Rangatahi Māori, and welcome recommendations about any specific hapuri or whānau Māori that we should engage with, that we may have missed out about the review and the relevant opportunities. So Rangatahi youth 12 to 24-year-olds are valued members of our community, and the 3 Wairau councils have agreed to develop a combined Rangatahi strategy and action plan, and as part of this is reviewing the current strategy, and it's the first time that all 3 councils have come together to develop a common vision for Rangatahi of the Wairarapa. The review approach is increasing our commitment to supporting the provision of a new regional lens on Rangatahi development needs, and also to create greater awareness around strengthening Rangatahi voice and potential and well-being and participation in civic affairs. The Wairarapa Policy Working Group has been delegated responsibility to support the review and make recommendations back to the 3 councils on the revised strategy. It's really important that for the Wairarapa councils that Rangatahi Māori are part of the strategy development, and they've got opportunities to engage. And the project team is progressing engagement plans with Māori Māori groups, including Te Kura Kapapa Māori or Wairarapa, and we're also having conversations with Kuranui about doing a wānanga with Rangatahi Māori at Kuranui. The NDC, which is leading the review, they have informed Rangatahi or Wairarapa, Wairarapa, Rangatahi Tūmai Rā Trust and Wairarapa Tāmaki Nui Aroa Settlement Trust of the strategy review and sought feedback on the engagement approach. The project team has been focusing on increasing our understanding of Rangatahi, and also all our works with Rangatahi and the Wairarapa to make sure that we are engaging with the people that we need to engage with, and also that we have got the right approach when we do engage with them. We have developed an engagement which have got 3 options for our Rangatahi. And at the moment, we are going into, or we've been approaching schools, so year 8 up onwards. So all schools in the Wairarapa have been invited to engage, and at the moment we have almost, I think, 25 schools that have chosen to engage with the review. And we've got 4 out of 8 schools in the South Wairarapa who have confirmed that they want to engage with it.
So, sorry, but just really quickly, are any of them from the South Wairarapa?
Yes, sorry, I
They
didn't
are?
say that. So
Yeah, no, we're just saying Wairarapa, and I just wonder because, yeah.
So about between 21 and 25, I'm not sure about the number, all across Wairarapa,
Yeah.
and 4 out of 8 in the South Wairarapa have confirmed. Year 8 and up, so that is, I guess they're about 12 years old to about 18 years old.
Yeah.
We're also gearing to go out and engage with the 18 to 24-year-old. It's looking a little bit different, and it's a little bit more challenging to make sure that we are basically connecting with them and finding the right people and that they have opportunity. So if you've got any suggestions or any key groups that you think are really important that we connect with, please do let us know. At the moment, it looks like quite a bit of that engagement might happen through sports clubs or also employers, which have got lots of young people in the Wairarapa. we're going to also be pulling together an interest group, a focus group of interested rangatahi who can help us workshop and develop ideas and concepts as we're gathering feedback and make sure that it's really representative. It's a co-design, they can influence the outcomes of that. And we would like a good cross-section of our community, including Rangatahi Māori, on the focus group. At the moment, we're looking at 15 positions that are available. There is no formal application, but as we go through the engagement, there's always going to be sort of like a little box, a feedback box where they can say, hey, I would like to participate. And we've got a landing page on NBC's website, and we're also talking about it in various papers and that kind of thing. But so it would be great to have Rangatahi Māori from the South Wairarapa, so if you know anyone want to make sure that they can have the opportunity to be part of the focus group, please let me know.
So there's one of the schools, South Wairarapa.
What are the schools? At the moment, we've got Karanui, we have got Piranoa, we've got Kautara, and we've got Greater. I'm still waiting to hear back from Featherston School and yes, or South Featherston and St. Teresa's may not be participating. St. Teresa's didn't feel like they could incorporate it in their current activities. And South Featherston has only got one year 8, so we're looking at whether or not that year 8 would like to join one of the other schools, or there's also an online engagement process, so that if they'd like to just be part of the online Dropbox, then it's an opportunity.
So you're pushing this out online as well?
Yeah,
Social media? Or?
Yeah, we will do that. NBC is the lead, and so they are developing that particular online resource. Okay.
And nothing from Martin.
Oh, so sorry. So Dan hasn't been confirmed yet, but I'm pretty sure that they will also. I can't say for sure, but I know that just that conversation has happened just a little bit later than the other ones, because of the fact that we've decided to have the person who's already doing zero waste education and already coming into that school to do that, to confirm the dates. Yeah. So I think that's in process. Yeah. Thanks for asking. I've got to specifically mention
Oh, anyone zooming in? Is there any questions for Steve? Oh. Right. Anyone else? Eric, did a question? Anyone? Come on, thank you, Steve.
Can I just for clarification, so you're looking for rangatahi who could be sitting with this group to help support it and new initiatives? Is that what you're looking for? Well, or are we meant to be taking our ones who may be perceived within our area as rangatahi who may have great ideas and be of benefit to this group, to the iwi to put forward? I'm just a little bit confused.
I think it's just about, so like I said, with NDC have gone out to the iwis to make sure that this information is available. But the idea is that if there are people in the community that you know about that you think would like to be included, then please share that opportunity so that they can opt in, either as, just to engage with the review in that process, or it is also to join the focus group.
Yeah.
And it's to do with anything to do with the South Wairarapa or the Wairarapa is the whole strategy. It's not just particular pockets, it's anything.
Yeah, anything related to youth. We've got a existing strategy that was developed between MDC and CDC. We've jumped on board, so it's a new strategy for the South Wairarapa District Council. The existing strategy has got 8 goals, and so the questions that are being given to the rangatahi, they reflect the outcomes of those goals and checking that they are still the right ones and current ones. Yeah. And the questions are really open, so it can capture a lot of different information.
So we're really keen to see what themes come back from our rangatahi. Tell us, you know, what their lived experiences are or what their moitai are for us here living in the Wairarapa for them.
And is there a part that, like, is there somewhere online where they can go and tap in and
They should be
enjoy
able
the
to feed
conversation
in.
from the Master District Council?
Yeah,
Is
so
that-
it's being developed, and so as soon as we start, we have kind of started the engagement with rangatahi. We had a meeting with the youth councils and also representatives from South Wairarapa last night to test the questions. And the engagement, the targeted workshop, which was really cool. And then as soon as we go into schools and into targeted groups that we are engaging with, those resources will be provided during that time of engagement, so that we're doing the face-to-face engagement, but we're also saying, hey, this is online and you can provide further feedback. And then there's a landing page on Masterton District Council website, and that will have a link to the online engagement, and we will also be pushing it out through social media.
But so are we able to then have something when that comes out to send through to the Māori Standing Committee, so that way we're always pushing it out ourselves to people.
Absolutely.
Just they they blow my mind every single time, because I always think people kind of think you know what they want, and then they just go, nah, like you're totally wrong. Yeah, Ekahuna is probably the best example of that, when council was looking at putting in a skate park because that's what youth needed, and the youth turned around and said it's coming up to the time of remembrance, and what we want is we want something done with Soldiers Memorial, and that's what they wanted done. So they used the money to get that ready for, and it just went to show that, you know, you've got to actually involve them and talk to them, because they'll just blow your mind every time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So here we have, and I'm going to move into the note that South Wairarapa District Council has agreed to developing a regional Wairarapa rangatahi strategy with Masterton, Carterton District Councils. Do I have a move? Andrew? Yeah. Yep. Do I have a second? Kia ora. All those in favour, please raise your hand. All those against, please raise your hand. The motion is carried. Kia ora. Right. There's another one here. Do I have a mover to note that the committee support the proposed approach of engagement with rangatahi Māori? Yep. Do I have a mover? Anyone on the street behind it? Kia ora. Do I have a second here? Is that Karen? All those in favour, please raise your hand. All those against, please raise your hand. The motion is carried. 10.1 action items, pages 63 to 65. Actions, cheapest, 248. Does it mean you, Andrea, still?
Just the strategy one.
Oh, gosh. We're going to progress that. We're going to do something before the end of the year, don't we? Is anyone, Karen, did you want to say something? Just talking about the normal strategy, you know, still want to do that? Amanda, do you have something more to say to that? And schedule that in. What's the timeline like for the rest of the year?
It's tight, but we can help you with that. Like our offer from an officer's perspective is we can help organise the venue, the program, the guest speakers, whatever you need us to do, we will help. We just need some direction around what you want and how you want it to look.
Is there any way to do on a weekday? Because every time I try it on the weekend, it's
No. Yeah. But yeah, there's Karen, did you have something to say?
No.
Oh. Well, switch us out.
yeah.
Look,
Sometimes.
And we've done it. We need to have a decision, probably you and me.
Okay. We'll have a meeting with Amanda and then pick out some dates to everybody and agenda items.
Yeah.
Basically.
Because we did draw up a bit of a program.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
pretty good. We got far, that far.
Yeah.
But we have time, sorry, we have time before the election.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just thinking of that timeline.
I think if you don't do this committee, you stay from scratch right at the end. Because you use the people around this table and our colleagues, we've actually got quite a good insight already with the government.
Yeah.
So
I know.
maybe
That all happens in September, doesn't it? So we literally had to have this one.
October is the
That's
election.
October, so September.
But September, you guys will be busy in September. Okay, well, the action is that Andrea and myself and Amanda are going to get together and try and nail it. And get some dates out
And the program.
and a program and speakers.
Yeah. And if you just like, if you want to just hand it to like, it's easier if you make the decisions and then just hand the work to us, we can do the work.
Yeah.
That's all good.
Okay, well, that's our action. 453. Oh, that's
just the grant form.
yes, that's
So
part of the well-known.
Yeah.
And then 573. That's part of the workshop, yeah. Or the well-known, I should say. 189, still have the street, that's the Northall, yeah.
Yeah.
189 Northall. And then 281 was right, there's support to London. That's been done. You've done that?
Yeah, that's on behalf of the MSC.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then obviously copies to the community boards. That's right.
Yes, so I'll send you that out.
Okay, that's them.
And can I just make a comment on with regards to 285? Greg Hawkins' daughter Leah came and presented to the Martinborough Community Board with regards to the naming of the road, and it was put in as for the George Hawkins.
Oh, really? Oh,
Went
yeah.
through. So I just wanted to thank the Māori Standing Committee for the endorsement to that. They were endorsed by all Māori and in the area. So I want to thank all of our food as well for that. And yeah, it was quite moving. So thank
Oh,
you.
that's nice. George Hawkins' way.
Mm.
So now to the simple action report. So do I have a move to receive the actions item report? So I'm going to do this with Karen, shoulder, and do I second it, please? Please. What's it? And then all those in favour, please raise your hand. All those against, please raise your hand. The motion is carried. Income and expenditure report 66 to 70. Nothing new to see here. And again, yeah, it's one of the things we want to review in our plan. So do I have a move to receive the income and expenditure statement for the period ending 30 June 2022? Thank you, Alex. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Garrett. Oh, Gillies. All those in favour, please raise your hand. All those against, please raise your hand. The motion is carried. So off to the report, page 71 to 288. Yeah.
Madam Chair, if I
You're go and have your
could.
pudding.
You got
Have your
You've
pudding.
been blasted here.
You did a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Harry, you speak.
Harry had computer problems.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
He tried to come. I saw him a couple of times try to come under there. I go.
What did he say? Anything in particular for us about officers' reports? Okay.
Can I,
Yes, Garrett.
there's 2 points I'd really like to make going through, and it's really good guidance. We're really guidance on the council. 2 points, one is the pipeline through the Tiranikel. And we want an indication, it'd be nice to have an indication as to what was the culturally acceptable way to do this. There's 4 options, there's 5 options on the table. And I presume it ranges from like 2 million up to 7 million, and goes through you can line the pipe through the gravel or actually attaching it to the existing rail track. So I'm seeking, as a councillor, I'm seeking guidance as to what this group thinks and what would be an acceptable way. No decision has been made. These are options on the table which have come to us from Wayne and walk out there. And then I don't really want to discuss it now, but I'd like some guidance on how we should approach that.
Does anyone have a comment to make about the Tōpareniko pipeline? It's to go across the river or above it or under it?
Yeah, well,
There's a few options there.
page 147, you know, it says there that Rangitangi or Wairarapa do not support a pipeline in the river, which was option 1 and option 2, as opposed to the other options that are under or above the river.
Correct.
So, I mean, obviously they're okay with above the river.
How did that stack up financially to do it above the river?
So
It's 2 or 3 times the price, but the thing is, the approach would be the CapEx. It goes CapEx rather than operation, but it can be spread across a long period of time. And it comes out of the budget, obviously, but are we actually doing what is desired? That's the question.
And currently what's been in place for years and years is it's been in the riverbed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So when it was originally put in place, I mean, it was under the riverbed, but what's happened over the last like 60 to 80 years is that as everything's washed away, now it's at the top. So it's on top of the river and it's exposed, and so it means it's really not good.
Well, it's failed a couple of times already.
But they did mention as well, Wellington Water, sorry. So Wellington Water, one of the things that they did actually mention is that it was raised that were Papua even aware that the water was being taken out from your side. so from the Waihi for there, because you know, what we'd asked was, is there any reason why we can't be looking at a new water source for Featherston
As well.
instead? Who knows, you know, like, but that hasn't even been an option.
I mean, that's a really good point you raised, but why does it have to come from that source?
Yeah, I believe that was Ra. I believe they had spoken to Ra about that, and that was his query that he raised, and he said he would be very interested. And they said that discussed with Mana Whenua, but of course you are Mana Whenua and Papua is Mana Whenua, and I'm not sure how often Wellington Water has been to you.
I mean, this is the first time I've heard of it anyway.
Yeah.
So it might be a good opportunity for us to re-engage, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's a very good point. I'm just wondering if we have considered all of the options properly.
Just to expand on that, so page 221, the 6 options are there, but that is not, they did not consider at this stage an alternate water source. However, the clock is ticking, and what we've got at the moment with Tiraniko is a risk, a serious risk. If that goes, then Featherston's in trouble. So it's really a matter of deciding which way to go and what would be acceptable on both sides. Yeah.
Well, I guess Featherston's getting hit from both ends, aren't they?
Yeah.
Literally, you know,
Yeah.
there's the water source and there's also the wastewater issue that you're having, because that affects Greytown and in particular Papawai.
Yes.
Because the overflow from Featherston comes in Papawai Road.
Yeah.
So that is a real issue, and I know there's a conversation of Hui next week, and there'll be a lot of Papawai whānau going to that. I think it's the Martinborough Greytown Community Liaison Group discussing that very fact, well as discussing the wastewater issue.
Yeah, I would like to know what council does, you know, how much council funds for, well, because they outsource this to services to Wellington Water. So I'd like to know what the budget the council has set and what priorities that the council has placed on, you know, this work that Wellington Water does to get the full context of what we're looking at, because that will help tell the whole story, and then also be able to inform, you know, where solutions can be sought. So I'm really interested in, you know, understanding that whole context, what's set aside in the budget for OPEX, for CAPEX, and what priorities are set with Wellington Water from the council end, and how they are fulfilling those, you know, requests for those services that's procured. Yeah, so if we can get that as well. Yeah.
Well, I think it depends if you're talking wastewater included.
Yeah, well,
The initial budget to get temporary was 300, 400,000. That's what we're operating on now, but I'm nervous to temporary. And we're still at risk of getting a solution.
Yeah. So,
And it's the same with the Tahiraneka, you know, what they come through, it's I think we need a little bit more information. And like I say, to me, to have this information and not even have looked at an alternate water source, feels a little bit, well, same old, I guess, because Cedars Thinnings are continuing to do what they've been doing, which is having to rely on the Waihini and getting their water from there. And yeah, like you say, the difference on both sides, wastewater as well. So we need
so we
to
need
get
some more information.
what we can do and more information, because this feels like an unfinished.
Yeah, there's a whole strategy around this, isn't there?
Yeah, it's like an unfinished report. They've only given us half of it.
Yeah, it's piecemeal by the looks of things.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you know, what does the council pay for? Is it short-term solutions?
If it's CAPEX, and then borrow.
Yeah, but that's the information I'm saying we need in order to have a look at the complete picture, to then look at the solutions, comprehensive solutions. So can I note that as an action?
And they're right.
No, from the council, to know what the budget is, you know, to understand.
Define budget for us. So budget for wastewater, budget for the
Yeah,
two different animals.
yeah, that's right.
Below the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
whether,
we've still got the problem at the other end, the Betters end, we've still got the problem with the Northern Gully situation.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of balls in the air.
Yeah.
I think it's important that the Māori Standing Committee is aware that this is being discussed and what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and that's why I'm really very keen to raise it this evening. So that there's
no surprise.
no surprises. Yeah, that going forward, we've got these sitting behind us as to where we're going to go. So we could put it to our meeting if we're going to have this meeting in September. And report back by then, but I don't know how much time. That's why I'm sorry, Harry can't, because I said probably be able to give us a timeline. Sorry, Madam Chair behind you.
I'm just thinking, if I was Stefan, what do I want to know to be able to
Exactly.
come back to you in the absence of Harry and Stefan?
Yeah.
So the council are the decision makers in this space, so it's been very clear that they would be looking for advice on cultural aspects of the water source, how it's treated, ensuring that Mana Whenua understand, you know, have an input into that decision around the best
And access to the river.
access to the river, all those kind of water issues.
But we also want to know what is what is the budget the council has set aside for this work.
I don't think we have set aside a budget because it's emergency repair work.
Yeah,
That's coming, it will have to come out of contingency, or we have special reserves, or
so you're talking about Band-Aid kind of responses.
report clearly states that they're looking for a long-term solution.
So this is the long term.
Yeah, we're looking long-term solution.
So there must be some kind of budget that's
allocated
So
to,
in the report, it also has those, each of those options, and it kind of says that has, I don't know if it doesn't have dollar amounts, but it has. Like, this is the most expensive solution, these are the most cost effective solutions. Kind of approach.
yeah,
I haven't read this report in detail, so I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of thinking, what do you want to know from council? And we probably won't have the answers, it will probably be well into water, we'll go back to.
yeah. So what I'm trying to say is I want to know what you currently, what budget is currently being approved for what services that you've procured from Wellington Water.
So you want to know the Wellington water budget,
Yeah,
okay?
and then,
That probably be publicly discoverable already.
yeah, well, that's all right, can
Yeah.
send it out to us.
Yeah.
By email, and then we want to be very clear around the critical issues across the system.
So the risks is outlined in this report.
Yeah, so you've got, you know, like safe water, drinking water is a critical issue,
Yeah.
which is tau whareniko. And then also looking at wastewater.
Yeah.
The issues around there, so that we can help problem solve and in an appropriate, culturally appropriate way.
Yeah.
Feed into your solutions that are being presented.
And wondering if the best solution would be the Wellington water. Amazing, or you done that before? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Can I just say that the budget is there on page 217. Right. So the estimates and the ongoing rate, so
Yeah.
they're there, in terms of available, I don't know the answer, I think it's right, at this stage, the capital is not.
It has to come out of reserves or be borrowed.
And it is a long-term solution.
But if it's long term, then we should be looking at all alternatives, which include looking at alternative water source. You know, if we're thinking long term strategic, we've got to be looking at that as well. I think that's
I think if you just concentrate on the pipeline at the moment.
well, then just quick fix until we can work something
Yeah,
out until they do the rest of the work. They haven't finished it.
The wastewater is more issue, which is needs to come in 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah, where I'm really interested in long-term solutions that are acceptable. And you know, we can make a decision on an option just looking at Te Whareniko. But you either want us to do a full job or just go with what's in front of us. I do think that this take or our take are so critical to us that it actually needs to be a wānanga around this.
Yeah, and they often get treated in separate from one another, but of course they're not. Yeah. You're right, yeah. It's a bit more of an overview approach.
And the other thing that I asked in the meeting was with regards to Māori input and they fleshed out the information that they were able to provide us on that day into this report, but they said that they saw input from both Ngāi and Ngāti Kahungunu as iwi with mana whenua status in the area, but only were able to meet with Ngāi. And so for that reason, they have not put any of the mana whenua values into their scoring, which means
And
that
who
their
at
scoring
Rangitane
is
did they see?
completely.
Sorry, Violet, was it Violet?
I'd like to know who at Rangitane they spoke with.
I believe she said right, didn't she? She said right, but
So,
yeah.
Well,
I thought she said right.
Well, if she said,
Oh no, 44. 44.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, Linda, you mean?
yeah, that's what she said. She said, you were there with me, yeah, 44. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, Grant, Jupiter's getting in trouble.
so I think we need to bring everyone together on this.
Yeah, I think so.
Hmm.
I just, yeah, I think we have to, because it's just,
Too important.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, so Gillies, but you were going to attend the Greater Martinborough community discussion this week. I saw an invite for that.
Yeah, we just found out the other day that they were having it on Tuesday of next week. So the Papawai whānau have decided to go along to it because it does affect the wastewater system along Papawai Road.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is that being held by Wellington Water?
It's council, it's the part of the resource consent. I think one of the things that we need to improve internally is we have these disjointed conversations because our work is all siloed up into these processes under legislation that are like, for this particular project, you need a consent, and under that consent, you need a consumer or resident consultation process, and it kind of all gets divvied up into these ad hoc processes where I think the point that you have made really clearly that I've heard tonight is you can't separate that stuff out. It's all intertwined. It all has its importance. It's a significant asset for Māori, and we divide it up into these ad hoc kind of little groups, and it's not helpful to have disjointed conversations.
It doesn't help at all. Yeah.
I don't know what the solution is, but I like the idea of a one.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah, and do you
Same
think
here.
that's with Māori, Hapu Marae in the area, iwi representatives, Wellington Water, and it's a and council, and it's a view around our water.
I mean, it just seems a little strange to me that someone's speaking on behalf and they've raised really, really good points, and yet you're not even hearing them at Papawai.
Mm.
Those concerns, how is that, it's just that little bit disjointed and I think, because we're all on the same page once we know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
No, agree.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, just the other consideration that I've heard about recently in the space is that
Oh,
sorry.
sirens going in.
Oh, the wind must be playing up there. Wow.
Wasn't it the fire siren again?
Yeah.
Hmm. How's your shade house holding up out there in this wind?
It's not windy here yet.
Oh,
Masterton's still pretty calm.
how's your shade house holding up at Kohanui?
Oh, that thing has survived for years. I
Oh, good.
think, yeah. I think it's quite lucky where it is because it's got a bit of a shelter from those trees and the wind tunnel.
Oh, you're nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, Linda, Tiara Fitzy have reached out to our planning regulatory team about how the governance is going to happen for Wairarapa Moana with iwi as part of their settlement. And so, I think there's another conversation that's going on around water that's very connected to this conversation. And they're talking about another whole governing body. And I just feel like it's all just been disjointed and silos.
Yeah. Such a good point.
Yeah.
So it's another hui.
Well, because whatever they're wanting to do to help Moana breathe again, all comes back to the wastewater issue that they have as well.
Yeah.
So, it's all tied up. We have to fix it, and we've got to get it right now. We can't, this is our chance. We've got to get it right.
Scott's here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So can we make that an action for a one to be organised, maybe a half a day during the week, and inviting all the key players in this space.
You do it
You guys
on a
can make
Thursday.
Thursday half day.
Yep, so,
Yeah.
yeah. But, yep,
I reckon.
Hawaii host us,
It's,
this one
oh, yeah.
potentially.
Yes.
Are we talking about the whole thing? Because there's also the next paper here is the Wellington Water suggestions for the project management for Featherston wastewater going ahead. Now, I don't know if you should even do the whole lot.
Yes, but that's what they're saying.
Yeah. Because if you look at that draft, page 241. Project management. Now, again, this is up for discussion, so I see. Because there's a governance role and an operating role. Now, I would suggest to Iwi on their place, maybe they should be Māori Standing, or I don't know, maybe it should be Māori Standing.
You know, I'm actually in there.
Sorry?
I'm actually in this governance project management. I know you can't see me there, but I actually been asked to be on it. I've already been on one of the hui, but I'm not here. So
I just look at that and I say to myself, I'm sorry, the top row there, I can't see any governance. Governance, to my mind, people who are accountable to the community or to a various group. We've got,
or Harry's there.
no, he's operation. He's operation.
And they're a governance group, but they're more operational.
Then the next one down.
Apart from you, Marina.
Well, I'm in there with Stefan and Simon.
No, but he's not in there. He's not in governance.
No, he's in the, I don't think we were stealing him. Anyway, whatever.
I'm just suggesting that we're going to look at this thing, we should look at the whole lot, not just in isolation.
Yeah.
And I think this new project management South Warwick with Featherston links in nicely exactly what we're talking about, the water situation. And once again, I would like guidance as to who should in fact be involved in that governance group. And who the representatives are they endorsed by this committee? I'm not sure.
So half a day on water,
Yeah.
Yes.
looking at a Thursday. And anyone want to host that? Okay.
Say Harry.
We can probably do it. Just give us some dates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
So it's half.
Can we get
Amanda
Amanda to coordinate dates? Just an email out to everyone asking for these, which dates are better?
Yeah. If there's a date that might suit, but we can't do it at Council, we can ask. I can see if they can do it here. If the dates don't work.
Yeah.
Fallback option, Hawariki.
Yeah.
Okay, I better receive this report too. So do I have a mover to receive the report, the officer's report? Violet, do I have a seconder? Kia ora, please. All those in favour, please raise your hand. All those against, please raise your hand. Motion is carried. Anything else anyone wants to bring up on this?
Yeah, I'd like the name to be added until we use it.
Is this
on
the project management team, the wastewater treatment, or is this a different project?
Project management
This is
team.
this wastewater one, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, well, I got a phone call and asked to be on there as like a Māori liaison. I guess as a to view it through a Māori lens, I guess, this whole project and make sure that Featherston.
And who was that? So who's representing our town and who's representing our town?
Whatever, and Bra,
Oh, yeah.
emailed. Yeah, it's a tricky thing, though. Anyway.
So you're on the project steering group.
Yeah, I'm
There.
there. Around Simon.
Okay, cool. I think we need to confirm that.
Yeah, and I just want to see your name again.
Yeah, I know, that's interesting.
But once again, I'm not quite sure who the governance people are.
That's right. That's what I want to confirm.
Because there's no
that.
councils and there's no committee boards.
Well, we'll ask them that.
Yeah.
And this is the Wellington board.
Designed by them, for them.
I think just the council needs some guidance. That's what we said. The second guidance on the reaction to this evening. This is the sort of structure. we need. And it's not just for the municipal wastewater possible.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, I think we're there. Is it anything else? Anybody? Anybody else in the report? The dog pound is not here, is it?
Probably is.
Is it?
Yeah, the
Buried in
wrong thing
here.
is.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Oh, they're right at the beginning. Report. Did you want to talk to the?
Oh, that's okay. I guess it's in here.
We have a look at 75, 7.8, proposed council dog pound, yeah, 76.
That's so.
Oh, right.
It's, they're all the same.
So. Oh, yes, I saw your. Your, big opinion.
Yeah,
You emails. I saw,
you know, we're having a discussion on Thursday.
Oh, that's good. So you're gonna actually have a walk around there.
On-site.
Yeah, cool.
That's
Because I
not
think
the-
until that happens, it's not.
Yeah.
working.
No, that's right. Just wanted to see what we're doing.
I think the same was being like in the last.
Okay, halfway. I think we're gonna, is that everything, everybody? Then we'll close with a karakia. Did you want to close us off, Gillies?
Okay, ka whai.
Kia
Nō reira me karakia tātou. Kia tau, kia tātou katoa te ata whai tātou ari kia i Aiti. E te aroha te atua, e te whiwhinga taitanga ki te wara tapu. Ake, ake, āme.
ora. Kia ora. Stop recording. So just